innocent one. They all mingle in a vast, shadowy expanse reigned over by ever-darkening grey skies stretching between righteousness and downright immorality. It is a country I have always thought of as being called Criminalia. Chapter 1. Where did it all go right? You always pass failure on your way to success. Mickey Rooney.
Milner, what are you still doing at this college?
Good question. You've been here 2 years and come bottom in building construction twice. You're wasting your time here. You simply can't draw. On the other hand, you've come top in property law in both years. So I'm prepared to recommend you to any university to study law. But enough is enough. 1967. I was standing in front of the principal of the College of Estate Management in Kensington. He had summoned me in to tell me his views. Would you really, sir? Well, in that case, I'd like you to recommend me to the London School of Economics. I'd heard rumours that LSE was a thinly disguised holiday camp, and if after 3 blissful years you could spell your name right, you were bound to get a degree. Very well, come in tomorrow morning and I'll have a letter ready for you. I was living with my parents in Finchley, and a friend from down the road had just finished his economics degree at LSE. The next day, I showed him the recommendation I'd picked up from the principal. The friend mentioned that he was going into college one last time to collect his old files that very day. He suggested I went with. It seemed pointless to me, as university began the following week, and I knew it was far too late to apply. "Come in," he said. "We'll go and see the secretary for admissions. What's there to lose?" So I did. 4:30 that same afternoon found us knocking on the door of the Secretary for Admissions office at LSE. An Irish lady called Mary was in charge. My friend summarised my plight. Mary was unimpressed but very sympathetic. "Here's the problem. The university year begins next week. The law course has only 60 places. It's probably the best in the land. You haven't had an interview, and no one gets onto the law course without an interview. There's 59 names on the list already, and I know there's a 60th who's got to be added. He's been interviewed and got 3 A's. What did you get in your A-levels?" 2 B's, I mumbled through my 3rd shirt button. Save for a deep sigh from Mary, silence reigned. The game appeared up. "Look," she said, "Dr. Valentine's in charge of admissions. He's gone off to a conference in Chambers. He gets very ratty if I interrupt him." I just stood there, head bowed. "OK, I'll give him a call so you can hear it for yourself."
What on earth do you want? I'm in the middle of a very important conference. I told you not to disturb me.
I didn't care for Dr. Valentine. "Dr. Valentine, I have a very nice young man here. He wants to come and study law."
"Good, tell him to apply next year."
"But he wants to start this year."
"I'm sure he does. So do hundreds of others who've applied. We start next week."
Has he had an interview?" "No."
"Well, the course is full, isn't it? We only take 60 students.
"Dr. Valentine, he's got a very nice letter from the head of the College of Estate Management, where he's been for 2 years. She failed to add that I'd been wasting my time there.
"Look, I've really got no time for this. If you're so impressed with him, have a look at the list, count it again. If there's 59, take him. If there's 60, don't. Don't ring me again. Good day."
She put the phone down and returned to leave. "You're in," she said with a broad smile. We stopped dead in our tracks. Saying these words seemed to give her as much pleasure as my hearing them. "What's happened to the fellow with the 3 A's?" "He's the 61st. I had just about enough sense not to ask whether this meant he was in or out. Chapter 2. Roots. A tree without roots is just a piece of wood. Marco Pierre White. I was born in the Lindo wing at St. Mary's Hospital in the spring of 47, or so I'm told. Up to the age of 1, I lived with my parents, older sister and grandmother in Temple Fortune, North London. Then we moved to a bigger house nearby. I know it cost £8,000, as for years my father moaned about the fact that my mother stopped him from buying one in Bishop's Avenue for £12,000 because she didn't drive and there was no bus route on it. My grandmother was Russian, my father Polish, and my mother Belgian. My father had bribed his way to England on one of the last 3 boats to leave Ostend.